never should have been. The problem that we're faced with and dealing with on today is not that manhood needs to be refined. It's that we must line up with the standards of what manhood is in the first place. The problem that has taken place in our society is that we have allowed others who don't have our vested interests in heart to redefine what manhood is, and we then have tried to take up the cross, if you will, or take up the mantle of what somebody else has established themselves, what manhood should be. Yeah. What am I talking about? We have shows on TV now. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. We got shows on TV now. What is P-Valley? Some of y'all might not know what I'm talking about. Some of you young folks, you know what P-Valley is. We have shows like the women, Atlanta Housewives. We have shows on TV that are defining what we are. Because what am I talking about? Notice all of these shows. Notice that, especially all the so-called black shows that are on TV. Y'all go down memory lane with me right quick. Just think about all the black past 10 years. And think about the character of all the men in all of these shows. Think about it right quick. What's my point? If you think about all of these shows that are depicting black men, all of them are effeminate. All of them are cheaters. All of them are liars. All of them are drug addicts or alcoholics. All of them cannot be trusted. There are abusers. But when have you ever seen a show with a black man on it, with a positive message coming from that black man? When the last time you seen a show where a black man stood up for the Lord on that show with the cameras in front of him and had a standard of righteousness? And on the show that one Tyler Perry show they used to have, what was it? What was that show where it was supposed to be based off a church, a pastor and his family? What was the name of that church? That Greenleaf. One of the worst messes in the world you could ever see. But this was supposed to have been a show based off of a pastor and the church family, and all you seen was lying, and all you seen was fornicating, all you seen was cheating and all kinds of debauchery. The image that they wanted to portray themselves. Yeah. We have allowed the enemy to secretly infiltrate our churches. We have allowed the enemy to infiltrate our homes, the enemy to infiltrate our jobs, and have dictated to us who and what we should be. But we don't have any images of love that we can abide by, but all we're being showed is deception and falsehood and debauchery. But then I read on and it said that we are to establish. We found out now that we've been redefined. But then the thing says also establishing manhood. The word establish means to gain full acceptance of, to demonstrate, to initiate, to bring into existence, to build. When we go and we try to build anything, y'all, I wish I had some carpenters in here. I wish I had some folks that know about building some porches and building on houses, adding on additions or remodeling. If I had any of y'all in here, y'all know what I'm talking about. That when you go to build anything, when you go to start a building, you first have to start a foundation. You have to dig the footing and prepare the foundation. The problem that has taken place is that if we are redefining what manhood is, then when we go to build a man, the foundation is already corrupted. Because what we have redefined manhood and destroyed, it's an already effeminate, it's an already abusive, it's an already lying image. So when we go to build, it's already compromised. When you go to dig that footing to build that house or to build that additional to the room or to the house, when you dig that footing and you go and pour that slab and pour the foundation, it's incumbent upon us that that foundation be leveled. Right. But how can it be leveled when we're digging and when we're placing it on unleveled and sinking sand? What we're trying to establish, y'all, has already been tainted because we are not digging and we're not placing what we should be placing on solid and level ground. And we're not taking the time out when we're pouring the foundations to build these boys into men. We're pouring the foundations on crooked and corrupted land. We got rocks and sticks laying all in the footing, and nobody's taking the time to remove the sticks or the rocks. Nobody's taking the time to take shovels to level it out. Nobody's taking the time to bring land movers, and nobody's taking the time to bring out the levelers to make sure that we're level ground. But everybody just saying, well, it look right. But if you're saying, well, it looks right, you got to base it upon what you've been taught. Is a man in the first place. I remember, I'm old enough to remember. I ain't old as some, but I ain't as young as others. But I'm old enough to remember my daddy got up every morning. And we didn't have a lot of money. I told you I grew up down in the country, down in Pipeline. We didn't have a lot of money. My mama said she didn't know what a running bathroom. My mama said she didn't know what indoor plumbing was until she got married. We grew up in the country, y'all. And one thing I can remember, I remember that my daddy got up every morning, even sometimes before the sun had time to get up. My dad was getting on his clothes, tying up his boots, and heading out the door to go to work. There was time when my daddy had snot coming down his face, tears rolling down his eyes, but he was still tying up his boots. There was time my daddy had just threw up at 6 a.m., but at 6:05, he was heading out the door. There was time my daddy's back was hurting and he was bent over at 6:02, but at 6:08, the key was in their truck's ignition. I thank God that my daddy was not perfect. My daddy said and done things he should not have. But one thing my daddy, that Pastor D.L. Driver, taught me was that you got to have a standard in your home, son. Organization else to tell us who and what a man is. Now, y'all give me 2 more minutes. I'm probably going to get out y'all hair.